the element of belief in prayer. It's so necessary that we understand that just you and I spending time sounding out religious words will not do anything when it comes to prayer, but we might not even know all the eloquence of prayer, the right words to prayer, but when we mix faith or belief into our prayer, trust, dependence upon God, Jesus says these words. He says, "Therefore I say unto you that whatsoever things you desire when you pray," he says, "believe that you receive them and you shall have them." And so I really do believe that some of the problems that we're facing today in unanswered prayers, the missing element is belief. How often do we go to God in prayer and we don't really believe Him? And with that in mind, I want to just take you to the idea that as a parent or a grandparent or Sunday school teacher or anyone that's influencing children, that we should lead them to learn how to believe God and receive what they pray for. Just the other night, I was laying on the bed next to my grandson Ethan, and we were praying together. I just leaned over and said, "Ethan, why don't you pray and before we go to sleep?" And he prayed, and I prayed together. And I think that's a necessary thing for you and I to do with our grandchildren, our children. But not only that, but just last night, I would have had this vlog done earlier. This is just a few minutes before it's supposed to be on, but just last night, my grandson Marvin and I were going out to go fishing together, and so I had said to Marvin, I said, "Now there's a storm coming up. It was supposed to start raining. There was lightning in the sky and large thunder clouds." And I told him, I said, "We can't be on the lake fishing with the storm coming up." But I said, why don't we do this? Why don't you pray and then I'll pray and ask God to do three things. And the three things that we asked God to do, as he prayed, and then I agreed with him in prayer, is number one is that the storm would not come. It would not rain while we're out there. Number two, he prayed that all of us would catch keeper fish, legal-sized fish. And then number three, that his dad would be able to get out there and be with us for a little while. His dad had another appointment and had worked all day and another appointment, and it was doubtful, or reasonably doubtful, that he may not make it out there in time to go fishing. So anyway, we prayed. He prayed, "Dear God, I pray that you would stop the storm and not let it rain on us. And then two, that you'd let us all catch fish. And then three is that my dad could join us." And so Marvin and I went on out there, and I believe we were believing God for those things. And I encouraged him to continue to believe God for that. And as the evening went, it got later and later, and his dad had not showed up yet. And yet the storm had gone away. It never did come. It just, the clouds became clear, and and then his lure was laying in the water right next to the boat, and a big fish came up, and one of the treble hooks hooked it. It didn't bite it. It didn't attack the lure. It actually hooked itself swimming by the lure, and Marvin pulled it in. Sure enough, it was 15.5 inches long, and we were excited. And then I'd caught a 15.5-inch fish, and then about that time, Marvin, my son, called me and said, I'm on my way out. And so he got out there, and was no time. He caught a keeper fish, and so we took a picture of it. And Marvin and I rejoiced together that God answered our prayers. Now, you may not think God's interested in that small of a prayer, but God's interested in a lot of things in our lives that we don't believe Him for. There are a lot of adamant promises of God that I believe ought to be claimed. And I think one of them is this, is that what things soever you desire when you pray, believe that you receive them, and ye shall have them. I hope this will help you today.